Okay, fifth graders, today we are doing lesson 3.2. That's module 3, lesson 2. And your learning goal today is to be able, it says I can add fractions. So adding means we're going to use addition. We're going to add fractions with like denominators. I underlined that in yellow because let's talk about what that means. In order to understand our learning goal, we need to know what like denominators mean. What's a denominator? What's a denominator, Marvin?
The number on the bottom of a fraction.
Okay, so if I have a fraction like 3/4, which number is the denominator?
The 4.
The bottom number, yeah, the 4. Like means same. So if it says I can add fractions with like denominators, that means I can add fractions that have the same bottom number in order to make equivalent fractions. What does the word equivalent mean again? Equal or same. So the words like and equivalent, do they mean the same thing? In fact, they both mean same. So if I say equivalent denominators, does that mean the same thing as like denominators?
Yeah.
Very good. Let's remind ourselves that a fraction shows part of a whole. The bottom number tells you how many equal parts the whole has been split into. So if I have 3/4 as a fraction, how can I show, if this is my unit, how many total sections do I have to split that unit into? 4 equal sized sections. Does that model that on the number line? What if I want to use a area model? How many sections do I have to show? How many sections do I have to divide this area model into? 4. Because the bottom number, also called the denominator, always tells us how many equal sized sections we split it up into. Do you agree? Okay. The top number tells you how many of those parts we have. So in this fraction, 3/4, how many of these fourths do we have? How many? 3, because our numerator is 3. So if I would show 3/4 would go up to here. Do you agree? Or 3/4 would be how many of these sections? 1, 2, 3. So again, just as a quick reminder, this models the fraction 3/4 using a number line and using an area model. The bottom number tells us our whole is divided into 4 equal sized sections. And the top number, the numerator, tells us that we have 3 of those sections. If we have 4/9 plus 1/9, do they have like denominators? We can tell those two fractions have like denominators because the denominators are the same. In both of those fractions, the denominator is what? 9. The denominator tells us how many equal parts we have to split our whole into. So go ahead and draw yourself a number line. And at one end of your number line, put a 0. And at the other end, put a 1 to show that this distance in between from 0 to 1 is 1 whole. So in order to split my 1 whole into 9ths, I need to draw 8 tick marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And from the distance from 0 to my first tick mark, how many of those 9ths do I have? 1/9. So let's go ahead and write 1/9 there. To the next one, how many 9ths have I traveled? 2 of those 9ths. To the third one, how many 9ths is that? 3/9. What about to the fourth one? 4/9, etc. Go ahead and figure out all the way and label it until you get to the end. 7/9, 8/9. And then when you get all the way to the 1, how many 9ths have you traveled? 9/9. Good. Now, this problem's asking me to start with 4/9. So if I have 4/9, I always start at 0 because I don't have anything when I begin. And I'm going to travel 1/9, 2/9, 3/9, and 4/9. Doesn't it make sense that after I get to 4/9, I'm at 4/9? Okay, so over here, this is 4/9. And then it's telling me to add 1 more 9th. So I'm going to travel 1 more 9th. So if I go 1 more 9th, what am I at now?
5.
So therefore, if I go 4/9 and then I add 1 more 9th, how many have I gone altogether? 5/9. So what this number line shows is that 4/9 plus 1/9 is equivalent to 5/9. Now some of you I know are saying, Miss So, I already know how to do this. Do I have to draw the number line? My answer is yes, because the number line helps you model. It shows that you understand in your head what's going on. You're not just remembering a formula or a rule that somebody taught you. So today I really want everyone to take the time to draw and label your number line so that you can model these problems. After doing my 3/5 and 3/5 and another 1/5, I ended up at 7/5. 7/5 we can tell it's an improper fraction because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. What that means is there's at least one whole in there, right? Because one whole is equal to how many fifths? So do you agree that 7/5 is the same thing as 5/5 plus 2/5? Do you agree?
Yes.
And is 5/5 the same thing as 1? Yes. So could I replace this with as 1 and 2/5? Yes. And that would be my final answer. Let's take a closer look at some of 9/5 and 21/9 are both improper fractions because do you guys see how the top number, the numerator, is bigger than the denominator? Yeah. How many fifths would it take to make a whole? 5/5 is a whole. Is 9 more than 5? Yeah. So do I have more than a whole there? Yeah. If I take away a whole, which is 5/5, how many fifths do I have left in those 9/5? 4/5. So do you guys agree that 9/5 is the same thing as 5/5 plus 4/5? Agree? Yeah. 5/5 is the same as what number? 1. 1. So is this the same thing as 1 plus 4/5? Do you agree? Yeah. So is this the same as 1 and 4/5? Yes. So when it asks you, when the directions ask you to express each fraction as a sum of a whole number and a fraction, you can either write it like this or like this. Let's take a look at this second example. 21/9. Is this an improper fraction? Yes. The top number is what? 21. The denominator is what? 9. Is the numerator larger than the denominator? Yes. That means that we have at least one whole in there. How many ninths does it take to make 1? 9 ninths. Do I have more than 9 ninths there? Yes. Okay. If I take away 9 ninths, how many ninths are left? 18. How many ninths are left? What's 21 minus 9? 12 ninths. Do you guys agree that 21 ninths is the same thing as 9 ninths plus 12 ninths? Yeah. Do you agree? Yeah. Okay. Hey, is 12 ninths also improper? Yeah. Because there's at least 9 in there. So I can do, this is the same thing as 9 ninths plus 9 ninths. And then how many would be left? 3 ninths. So 9 ninths is the same as 1. And this second 9 ninths is also 1. And 3 ninths we can simplify to 1/3. So what would be the whole number part? 2. And what would be the fraction part? 1/3. Very good. So 21/9 is the same thing as 2 and 1/3. I'm going to skip ahead for just a moment. In this example, if I have 6/11, how can I draw that on a number line? Well, here's 0 and here's 1. Because my denominator is 11, I know I need to split up that 1 into how many equal parts?
10.
How many equal parts?
10. 11.
How many equal parts?
11.
11. Why do people keep saying 10? Why do people, I'm confused. Because I see the denominator is 11, so I know I need to split it up into 11 equal parts. Why do people keep saying 10? Akshay? Oh, okay, be careful. In order to get 11 sections, I need to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because now if you count the sections, look, 1 section, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It takes 10 lines to draw 11 sections. Please be careful. We are not dividing it into 10 equal parts. We're dividing it into how many equal parts? 11. Now if we have 6/11, how many of those equal parts do I need to count out? How many of those equal parts do I need to count out?
6.
So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you guys agree that that red line is 6/11? Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. We want to split that up into 2 equal parts. Well, how many little sections do I have?
6.
6. If I have 6 little sections and I want to split it into 2 equal parts, how many little sections could be in each part? 3. Do you guys agree that if I put it here, that's exactly halfway? So how many 11ths are exactly halfway between 0 and 6/11? Look, here's 1/11, 2/11, 3/11. Over here, there's 1/11, 2/11, 3/11. Do you guys agree that 6/11 is the same thing as 3/11 plus 3/11? So this is how you show 6/11 as the sum of two equal parts, two equal fractions. How can I write that as a multiplication equation since it says rewrite each as a multiplication equation? Rohan?
3/11.
I could write 3/11 times 2. Now, what if I wanted to split 0 to 6/11 into 3 equal parts? Would I still have 3/11 in each part?
No.
How could I split? How many little sections do I have? How many 11ths do I have between 0 and 6/11? How many 11ths are there? 6 11ths. If I have 6 11ths and I want to share it into 3 equal groups, how many 11ths can go into each group? 2. So I could also do, here's 2 11ths. Here's another 2 11ths. And here's another 2 11ths. Do you agree?